Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Trevor and Konner. We got quite the show today. We're going to do a little Patreon question of the week. UDisc put out their superlatives based on stats, so fun little look back at 2023 stats. Simon Lizotte is keeping things interesting this offseason with some bunch of different hot takes and then a summation of all the voting that happened, which that's fun. We'll have a little Trevor's trivia. And then Champions Cup has been rescheduled, but now it might get rescheduled again. We'll talk through that. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with a little in the bag.
What a show.
But first, quick word from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. Are you ready to spice up your Thanksgiving as we dive headfirst into a mountain of mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce? Let's talk about the unsung hero this holiday. Okay. The Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That's right. It's time to go cold turkey on your old razor and take your grooming to the next level with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. You can visit manscaped.com and use code GRIPLOCK, one word GRIPLOCK, for 20% off and free shipping. And enjoy Thanksgiving in style. Don't let your poor grooming be the topic of the dinner conversation this year. With the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, you'll be the talk of the table. It's waterproof so you can groom wet or dry, and let's face it, we all want to look our best before carving that bird. Plus, the LED spotlight ensures you don't miss a spot even in low light situations. And speaking of carving, the dual skin-safe blade heads are your best teammates. The trimmer blade takes care of business, while the foil blade gives you an irresistibly sleek finish, like winning a touchdown at your Thanksgiving table. And for my men who go back for seconds, Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate bundle for the man who deserves it all. This bad boy is the whole plate and dessert. Included is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer, Manscaped's liquid formulation, and 2 free gifts, which are Manscaped's Boxer 2.0 premium underwear and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag. So you can get 20% off and free shipping, all of this with the code GRIPLOCKED over at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using code GRIPLOCKED. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped.
I use our Manscaped code so frequently.
You're a frequent shopper.
I gotta rebuy my beard stuff.
It's like my new party trick to like be able to just. We've done more Manscaped reads than any other company easily, and so it's like a party trick for me to be able to just throw one out. Like I could give a Manscaped ad read at any given time. Like I know enough about the product. Trick. We all do. We know enough about those products that I could do them all.
My favorite thing is when they send us, like I now have 2 Lawnmower 5.0s.
Yeah.
So I recently used one. Incredible. First off, the chest. I had to say it, but I think I'm smoother than Luca right now. Secondly, that means the secondary one. It's gonna be a gift this Christmas. I'm not gonna say for which brother-in-law, but one of you, you're getting it. Merry Christmas.
Stout.
He's not my brother-in-law, but he is in town. Let's hop into a Patreon question of the week. This comes from over at patreon.com/Foundation Disc Golf. We've fully revamped our Patreon recently with giving Jason, our customer service expert, customer service expert, the range to that thing, and he has ran with it. It is unbelievable.
Guys, he's so good at it. It's awesome.
So if you're interested in seeing a bunch of behind-the-scenes content, unboxings, our weekly Q&A podcast I'm about to ask a question from, exclusive monthly videos, sometimes they do warehouse vlogs, all kinds of fun stuff, plus a monthly contest, discounts, access to the Heiser Club store. You can head over to patreon.com/Foundation Disc Golf and join the Heiser Club today. But this question comes from Bry Guy. He said, if the DGPT season started today, which manufacturer's team has the most wins by the end of the season? It's an interesting question.
This very moment.
Yeah, so the signings, the signings that have happened.
Forget about it.
So you have to keep Gannon at Prodigy. You have to keep Eagle at
You got to pick
Discmania, Page at Discraft.
You got to pick either Disc. Well, yeah, if you go MPO,
I think MPO only.
If you go MPO only, there's only 2 people to even consider. And
it's because if you include FPO, it's just unfair.
Well, no, you know what? Let's include FPO.
Okay.
It makes it interesting. Well, if you include,
at least evens it up.
Well, because if you include FPO, that gives like 6 to 8 to Latitude 64.
Yeah, but the problem is then you can't take Prodigy because they don't have.
I think I'm going Discraft.
Because then I take Discraft because you have Missy and Page
and we don't know what
Holland.
Yeah, we don't know what
they're gonna win.
Format. How much Paige Pierce will be back? We don't know next year.
Yeah, but they're gonna get FPO.
I think even if you take FPO out of it, I still think Discraft.
Okay,
just because
if you take them out of it, I think Prodigy's much closer. Because then you have Gannon, Isaac, Alden, Ezra.
Yeah, it's very interesting. True. It's close.
They got dollars.
Because like Hammonds could pick one up, AB could pick one up, Gossage could pick some up, Paul Macbeth, we know he's going to go back to Europe. There's a lot of wins to be had over there. He could pick some up.
Because this year,
that doesn't even bring in Corey Ellis.
How many wins did Discraft have this year? like 4 or 5 maybe.
Paul
For
had
just MPO.
Paul had one. Corey Ellis had one.
Hamas had one.
Hamas had one. I don't think AB didn't get one.
Dickerson didn't get one.
Nope, Dickerson didn't. I think they just had 3 this year.
They only get 3.
But I'm just saying the potential of wins.
Yeah, I mean,
There's so many guys that could
5,
win.
6?
Yeah, no. I mean, Calvin Heimberg basically beat Discraft by himself this year.
That is true. No, Discraft has the best team.
I think Discraft's the best, the safest bet.
Probably.
They have a chance of not happening, but there's just so many
They would
guys
probably
that
be
could
the betting
win.
favorites.
Yeah, there's so many guys that
They
could
have,
win.
They have their elite team is actually elite.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I'd have to go with Discraft
All right.
all around.
I like it.
He likes to craft.
Now,
So what? Mine?
UDisc released this Pro Disc Golf Stats MPO. Who was the best in 2023? So this is just MPO.
Wow. Okay, you disc.
And yeah, I was just gonna kind of go through some of these because I thought it was.
When are we getting that Ulti World survey back?
We need the
My
Ultra World survey and we
gosh.
need the Pro Tour end of year awards.
I know, and they're dragging their feet on that too. Like, what are you waiting for, guys? We forgot about what disc golf is by now.
Now there was a reason I wanted to bring this article up. I'm gonna just start reading these awards, like who was the best in what stats category, and hopefully it'll remind me what exactly I was trying to say. First off, best Circle 1 putters in disc golf MPO 2023. Andrew Marweed was the best putter again.
Come on.
This list is kind of interesting.
It's really sad. I think I mentioned that last week, but like, how can you be the best putter in all of disc golf and like just didn't do anything?
93% C1X, 620 putts made, 666 putts attempted.
Whoa.
Yeah, bad number there.
Just throw one more.
Yeah, why didn't you throw one more putt, Marweed? Then Proctor came in second. Chandler Fry came in third. Chandler Fry is another similar to Andrew Marweed situation.
Surprised they're not even a little higher than that.
I don't know. Wow, I didn't ever think of Chandler Fry as like a dirty putter.
Oh, this is an interesting one here.
Turns out Chanimal's dirty.
Oh,
Now,
the Chanimal dog?
You flip this guy over. Gannon Burr
Flip him
circled 2 putting percentage on the year, 40%.
That's insane.
Wow.
On the year, 167 circle 2 putts made out of 413 attempted.
That's insane.
Now, Matty O was in second at 37.1%, and then Nate Metzler was in third at 37%. Ricky, a little bit of a shorter, because Nate Metzler only 54 putts attempted.
That doesn't count.
So you
Should've
take
been
him out, then Ricky Wysocki's third with 36.8% with 120 made and 326.
When everybody else on the stat sheet has like almost
Hundreds and
300,
hundreds, yeah.
Like you probably shouldn't let the guy with 54 putts count on the sheet. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Come on.
Oh, here we go. This is why I wanted to bring it up. I thought this was a very fascinating stat. Longest streaks with no missed circle 1 putts in pro disc golf.
That's
Why
cool.
don't we just
Longest
guess
streaks.
who's number 1? None of these streaks that are in the top 5 are active. Okay, but just who's number 1?
This is by
no misses in C1.
What do they count it by? Tournament, round, hole?
This goes for all of these. I'll just give you a hint. Go for multiple tournaments.
Right, but what am I guessing in? What?
No,
unit?
just who comes first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't need to guess how many. Just who's first on this list.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Oh, and you said they're not active as in they've missed since.
Yeah. So
Okay.
none
Well,
of
I
these are
mean,
like still active,
Okay.
I think
ongoing
you
streaks.
can only really guess. Like, I'll guess Andrew Marweed
Marweed.
because like he's the best putter. So
Yeah, that's what would make sense.
you
to
have
me,
to
but
guess one of the best putters.
That's the only thing that makes sense
Yeah.
statistically.
There's
to
not
me.
really a different way to think about it other than who is just the best at making putts. They would be most likely to have the longest streak.
But I bet is it someone like from back in the day or something?
Yeah,
No, this is this year.
This is this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I don't.
Unless,
understand.
like,
I don't
you
understand
could
why it would.
try and think about it as like, was there somebody that got hot in a certain tournament? Like, okay, I'll say Isaac Robinson because he gets
Okay.
hot sometimes. I'll say Isaac Robinson.
Okay,
Actually,
I'll just stick to Marweed because that's what the math tells me.
It's Paul Ulibarri.
you dog.
148 putts in a row without missing from Preserve to European Open round 3 hole 2. So from
Daggum.
Preserve round 3 hole 17 to European Open, he made 148 straight C1 putts. Second on this list,
That's crazy.
Ezra Aderhold.
What?
138 straight putts.
Brody's boys are good at putting.
From D-Glow
Yeah.
round 1 to, well, not all
Brody's
of them.
not on that list.
From D-Glow round 1 hole 1 to World round 4 hole 12.
That's kinda surprising
What do you
to me
think your
because-
longest one is? Like 12?
Yeah, maybe 13. James Proctor, he lines up on this list with 116. And then Matt Bell makes sense 113.
I'm just thinking
That's so many putts.
if I'm in a round, like in a round of disc golf,
Does that
'cause
include tap-ins?
this?
It just says circle 1 putt, so I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know if it includes.
Yeah, I
but
don't
even
know.
if it includes
No,
tap-ins,
circle one
Yeah,
putts
yeah.
don't
that's
count
100.
bullseye, right?
But it doesn't say circle 1X.
Oh.
Just a circle one. But even 148 straight.
It's still a very impressive stat, but yeah, you definitely could have half of them be from 5 to 10 feet.
Yeah.
But it's straight putts. That means that half the holes you're like 5 feet in.
It's also true. It means you're just playing well.
Or bad. Or
yeah,
really
either
bad.
be playing well or putting well. Definitely a combination of both. I would say, like, if I'm in a round and I make, like, 6 or 7 C1 putts in a row, I'm like, the putt's cooking today.
Oh, if I make 3. If I make my first
48, like,
yeah, if I get out there and make a 30-footer on hole 1, I'm like, putt's on fire today.
yeah.
I'm not missing it today.
Like, you got,
I'm
like, I wonder if they
thinking
realized
20-footer.
that was happening. Like, I wonder if, like, they
Probably
got
not. I
through
could
a
see,
couple
like, during a
tournaments.
tournament.
Yeah, just being
but
like,
not from one tournament to another.
well, I
don't
guess
think
you'd
I'd catch
have to realize it
I would
because
love
you
to
would be
know-
look like I'm sure guys notice when they go 100% C1. Like guys look at their stats after their tournaments to like see where they were lacking, and I'm sure they just 100% C1X, 100% C1X. Like they had to, their stats for C1 putting was 100% for multiple.
I want that stat, but
rounds.
but of all time, like who has the longest all time.
You're telling me there were multiple tournaments where the rounds were Ezra Aderhold 100% C1.
That's crazy.
Like, that
Yeah,
was
because it
happening?
started
I mean,
D-Glow.
I feel like I would have caught on to that.
but again,
but it wasn't. It might not have been. Because yeah, it had to be.
it had to be multiple rounds.
D-Glow round 1, hole 1. So D-Glow entire tournament.
So you're telling me you go round 1 through 4 and his circle 1 putting is 100%?
I'll look at it.
every
But the
single
thing
one?
is-
Yeah, Ezra Aderhold 100% C1X.
him and Alden.
Alden Harris was.
Oh,
also,
that one says C1X.
Well, yeah.
Well, it has to
if
be.
If you're 100% C1,
Yeah.
and then
anything inside of C1.
Worlds. So I don't know how many tournaments are in between there and Worlds, but Worlds he didn't miss one until round 4, hole 12.
Because like the thing is that
That's crazy,
impressive, yes, but also it could mean you had a lot of short shots that left you with 80-foot up shots.
But
that
over-
gave you a 15-footer.
over that many
know?
rounds though, like I would agree if you did it for 1 round, maybe 2 rounds. Where
Yeah,
it's
but that's what I'm
like,
saying, it's
It's like
multiple
okay,
tournaments.
3/4 of your putts were from 10 feet and in.
Yeah.
You're just throwing well. But if you do it for multiple tournaments, you just made.
That's what's
a ton
what's
of
crazy
putts.
is Ezra Aderhold putted 86% on the season, and yet 138 putts were made in a row.
That is crazy.
There's some ups and downs.
He was the 35th best putter on tour,
which actually is
this
pretty
year.
good for him.
The Ader dog.
I'm honestly proud of Ezra for that.
I'm
And
proud
yet,
of him.
35th best putter?
138 of those were made in a row. But that just kind of skews the stat because he has had this one streak where he couldn't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, disc golf is it's a game of runs, just like basketball.
Yep, same sport. That's why Andrew Marweed's so good. Best throwers / throw-ins. That's not that interesting. The PPI, I feel like we never hear about anymore. But remember that was like the precise power index. They released it back like last year.
I don't think I
which is
understand
like
what that means.
it's basically the more accurate they are with how far they throw.
Okay.
The
So,
power
like,
index,
I get that.
Yeah, so like how far they can throw while still hitting the fairway.
Okay.
Calvin Heimberg led that stat.
Shocker.
can
Not
see
really a
that.
shock there. Simon Lizotte came in second. The only other thing I really want, because like then you have like fairway hit rates, but the only thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was interesting to, not really interesting when you look at the season, but interesting as just a fan of disc golf for years. When you look at like all of these are like the top 10 players that were in this stat category, right? Like best circle 1 putters, best circle 2 putters, throw-ins, precise power index, like all these different stats. Paul McBeth only shows up once on any of these lists,
Wow.
which is the birdie or better percentage. Highest birdie rates in pro disc golf. Paul was fifth.
Is Brody on that list?
Brody's not on any list.
Okay, I know he led. I know he was like top 5 in total birdies at one point during the season. Like,
Wow.
that was like he was always really high on the birdie list, but then obviously he was like very high on the bogey list as well.
Yeah. Well, because like Calvin is 51% birdie or better. Eagle was 48%. Ricky was 48%. Gannon was 47%. And Paul was 46.8% birdie or better. Now, Paul played 500 less holes than Calvin, which is something to factor in.
Fraud.
Well, no, I just think like that some of the stats, like it does benefit you to play more holes. Birdie streak doesn't, but I don't know. I just thought that was the other thing that was interesting. Lowest bogey
interesting.
rate also Paul shows up, which is like the flip end of highest birdie, with only 8% bogeys.
That's interesting. You'd think with those two statistics,
And the
he
best
would've
scramble
played
rate, he was
better in his
61.
tournaments.
Scramble rate 61%. But like all the top ones of like the putting, fairway hit, power index, like stuff that I would have assumed, like back in the day, Paul had been like top 5 all of them.
Mm-hmm.
He was missing. And it was like the first time I scrolled and I like got through several of them. I was like, I haven't seen Paul anywhere. And then I got down there. I was like, oh, here he is. Which the scramble rate, Paul's always been incredible at scrambling. So no surprise. He's 3rd there. And the lowest bogey, highest birdie, those are kind of like go hand in hand. No surprise there. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But this whole list is very interesting. Best bounce back rates. You can just look through a bunch of stuff.
Oh my gosh. Who was it
this
that
is another
hated
one.
the bounce back stat? Well, didn't Brody hate the bounce back stat?
Sounds like something he would hate.
And like him and Dustin were jawing at each other.
I don't know.
Well, you might not have been on that episode of the night. It got very heated.
Ricky Wysocki was the best bounce back rate with 55%.
I forget why he didn't like the bounce back stat. There was a reason that Brody was like so, and it made sense a little bit. It made like a little bit of sense where it was something about, anytime you talk about anything related to momentum, and Brody, he does not like it. So that's probably what it was.
That's how you know that Ricky's real. Because he bounced back.
Oh, yep. That's something. Most active pro disc golfers, MPO 2023, Isaac Robinson. Now, I don't know what the stat fact is there, like how much that factors in, but he completed 1,662 holes, which was 92 rounds. Other people on this list is Jakub Semerod, Robert Burridge, Connor O'Reilly, and Gannon Burr. But in 2023, Isaac Robinson won a world championship and became the only person not named Macbeth or Wysocki to win 2 majors in a single season in over a decade, and played more holes at the world's top disc golf events than anyone else by far. So I don't know what they mean by world's top disc golf event. So I don't know what the category is there, because I know like back in the day, you would have like Emerson Keith one season played, what was it, like 74 events? Wasn't something crazy?
They're probably just grouping,
but he was playing like flex starts.
They're probably just grouping A tier and above all into one category.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like silver event pro tour major or if it's like A tier silver pro tour major. I don't know what they're doing. But the other thing that was very interesting over this last week was Simon Lizotte took to Instagram to put out some interesting takes here.
Very interesting takes.
And get people's opinions. So I'm not going to read all of the takes, because some of the takes he like summarized what people's opinions were on them, and then other ones he put up more polls. So first thing he put out was disc golf should embrace being quote unquote easier than golf. This debate has been going on for ages. The scoring is too easy. It makes our sport look bad if players shoot double digits under par. People won't take us seriously with scores so low. I disagree. Low scores are not what is holding us back. We're trying to make our scoring tougher by adding OB, making crazy greens, and often players get punished really hard for small mistakes. Gimmicky greens and gimmicky fairways lead to too much randomness in our game. That's what makes us look bad. And all for the sake of trying to get us to score closer to golf scores. How about we just accept that disc golf is quote-unquote easier? We start designing challenging and fair courses, and players will shoot 10 to 16 under par. As long as putting is as easy as it is, these scores should be the norm, in my opinion. Is bowling going to change their game because the pros get a strike almost every time? No. Is darts going to make the field smaller because the pros almost never miss? No. Give us a smaller and better target to aim for, or let's embrace the fact that disc golf is not like golf.
I found the statement really
agree.
interesting, because he basically just said, let's not make the game harder, but then gave a way to make the game harder by making the disc golf target smaller.
Well,
so I thought that was really interesting to do that whole thing and be like, why would we make it harder? But here's how we should make it harder. So
What I took from this take is I think that he worded, from what he's saying, I think he worded it wrong. That I don't necessarily think he like what he said is disc golf should embrace being easier than golf, but the reason he thinks that is because of the way stuff's trying to become harder, which is like the way that they do OB and stuff like that, and the way they're pushing pros. Whereas I think if disc golf were to become harder with like better course design, and what I mean by better is more so like if we had control over the properties to the point that like OB wasn't just ropes thrown out in a field, because like that's what kind of is he's saying like gimmicky and looks, or if we're using golf greens as OB, like that's the stuff that like makes the sport look worse, which is seems what he's coming at it from is like the optics of that.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, obviously I'm on side disc golf should be harder, because we'll get into what other people.
Anybody shoot 16 under, it bores me.
Well, the problem, in my opinion,
I don't want to say anybody. I don't want to watch like the field expected to shoot.
That's what the problem, in my opinion, is if disc golf embraces being easier, then we can all experience this. If you go and play, if you're a MA1 or higher player, and you go to a weekly at your local pitch and putt course, or you go to a weekly at the toughest course in your area, the toughest course in your area, you're going to be in the top percentage because you're the top percentage of better players, being an MA1 or better. If you go to the local weekly at your pitch and putt course, you're not, because now the ground's even because they've made the game too easy to where an MA3 player throwing thumbers can still get up and down from 120 feet every time. Now, that's on a very extreme scale, but if you blow that up and you keep disc golf easy, where like Falling Creek is a semi-difficult course to your average player here. If the pros showed up, they would destroy it, similar to Fountain Hills in Arizona. So if you took the Pro Tour to Fountain Hills in Arizona, right? Yeah, to your average player, that's a somewhat difficult course. That's not to the pros. It's just a hyzer fest. So what that does is it makes it where the skill gap disappears, because every pro on tour can throw 400 feet. Every pro on tour is a competent putter. So that means every pro on tour can score really well out there. So now there's no advantage of being better at disc golf than others. Whereas if you go to a place that actually makes disc golf harder in a fair way, not a gimmicky way, but a fair way, such as a New London or I think Northwoods Black at times, like courses MVP, Maple Hill, where they're very challenging, but they're fair, then you get that separation where the cream of the best players are still going to rise to the top. 16 unders can still happen. Like when Paul shot 16 under at WR Jackson, that is just an insane round. It's still out there. It's still possible, but it's not the norm. The problem is if disc golf has 15 under as the norm, then there's nowhere to go. So what you're going to do is these 30 people are going to be at 12 to 16 under, and then that's every round, and you're not going to benefit the player who has actually put in the work to be the best. That's why I think disc golf should be harder.
I think he makes a really interesting argument and a kind of a clever one using the darts and bowling example, but here's what I have to say about darts and bowling. There is a reason that darts and bowling are only as big as they are, because they are very simple sports. They are played in the same conditions with the same board, same lane, same pin. Okay, there might be different oil patterns on the lane, whatever. And therefore, they are pretty boring to watch. That's why only diehard fans of those sports watch them. You're not really going to tune into bowling.
There's no like casual bowling watchers.
I would argue because they are so easy to the human eye, to the person who would just tune in and watch it, that is what makes them boring.
Yeah.
Golf is a game that is built out to be endlessly complicated. Okay? It's not throw the ball at pins or throw the dart at the target. It is navigate a course that can change every single time. Even if it's the same course, it can change because of the conditions and what choices players make. You can't compare two of the simplest games ever created, literally, to one of the most complex games, potentially, when done correctly, ever created. That is pretty silly to me. I know Simon likes darts, but like, come on. We just compared throwing needles at a board to golf. They're very different. So I think that's the thing, is like those games I think have actually hit a ceiling because they're so one-dimensional. There are exciting things that can happen in them. Sure, I know bowling, picking up an awesome spare, like that's great. That's a great moment. But there's only so much you can do within those games. Golf has endless limitations, and trying to narrow it in so early in disc golf especially, I think is foolish. I think that they should continue experimenting with all kinds of things. I also think that disc golfers are prone to just getting really upset at obstacles because they're not used to it. I still think that is a thing. I think they see OB that to a spectator is very exciting to navigate, and they all get super mad at it. And I think a lot of that does come from the fact that discs react really squirrely when it comes to, I think that's one of the issues of disc golf and out of bounds, is that when a disc hits the ground, especially the grounds that we play on that are not perfectly manicured, that is something important to mention, they get weird reactions. I think if everybody was playing on, I think when they play a golf course, like if they play Wild Horse, those reactions that they get are a lot more predictable. Like just when we played, when you're playing on a golf fairway, you pretty much know what's going to happen to the disc when it lands. If it's got hyzer, it's going to skip, it'll dig and cut roll. It's very predictable. I think because we play on unpredictable courses with terrain that isn't very predictable, that makes the OB feel super gimmicky, and that is a problem. I understand that, but I do think that players should be punished. It makes the game more exciting. I don't want it to be lucky or gimmicky either. I don't think anybody wants that. There's obviously going to be somewhat element of luck within this sport. I mean, you look at golf, like you could land on a sprinkler head and your ball could jump somewhere. You could hit the flagstick and spin off the green. Like that's just part of sports. It happens. But yeah, I think that there are some good ideas in that take. But like I said, and you kind of erase the whole thing when you make that whole argument and then say, but here's how we should make the sport harder. And I agree, and I think we both agree that the best thing that disc golf could do without touching anything else is make the basket smaller.
Yeah.
Like I've said that forever. Like you barely change the game at all from an optic standpoint. So many people talk about like, oh, well then we wouldn't ever have aces. That would be way better for the sport if aces were more rare.
Yeah, well, it also, you would still have aces because, like, you can still throw in on a marksman basket,
Yeah.
but it would be so much more rare
Yeah, it'd be
that
way
when
more
one
exciting.
happens, it's way more exciting. Like, right now, it's so weird to me, like, I don't know. It's weird when a pro steps up and, like, an ace, like, if they're going for an ace, that's a real, like, it's almost a skill in disc golf.
Yeah.
Like, they can, like, it's not just, I'm trying to get close. It's like, well, I'm going to just try to throw this in, and then I'll make my 50-foot comebacker. Like, that's a thought process a lot of pros have.
You need rare things in your sport
Which
that
is
get
just
people
crazy.
super exciting. And right now, disc golf, the rarest thing we have, really, like that happens, like within reasonable chance, is the ace, and it's just not that rare. And I think
you can tell it's not that rare because of how many Instagram accounts exist that just
ace.
ace only. And it's
yeah,
like,
really, we're just gonna push this narrative, just so
Or that we were
so that
able
we don't
to
look bad.
We were able to make videos that are called like we can't leave until we aced or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Well, we just
that's
had like
it.
3 at the
Yeah.
end. Like there's whole courses designed for the purpose of it, basically.
what I like about sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to your point, I think part of what disc golf's experiencing is the sport is in a big evolution phase where we're discovering what the next step of disc golf course design is. And what is happening right now is players are being forced and asked to throw shots and think through situations that they've never been asked to before.
Yeah.
And so I think we have players responding different ways because now they're being asked to play golf between the ears and not just throw frisbees.
Right.
Because to a certain extent,
Because it used to just be walk up, throw a hyzer. You were robots.
but to a certain extent, yes, we can't, imperfect ground, there's going to be some rollovers and stuff like that. But some of that's magnified because players aren't thinking about angle control.
It's true.
To where it's like, oh, you have a green that's really slanted. You can't just throw a spike hyzer into the side of it and hope it sticks and then get mad when it rolls away. There's the next evolution of disc golf, in my opinion, is bringing touch back to the game and touch with distance shots where you have 450 feet into the green and you're having to think of how that disc is landing. Because in golf, that was the thing that like opened up a whole thing for me in golf was like, once I saw that players are controlling the spin from like hundreds, like 200 yards out or even farther, really though, like the 100 yards and in, they're having so much control over the spin that they're picking the spot on the green, the ball's hitting, and then it's spinning the way they want it to get to a preferred putt. And like in disc golf, we just don't think that way.
No, yeah, it's a total change of thinking. I mean, golf caddies will literally walk onto a green and start dropping golf balls and watching how they roll to see where they want to land their shots. Like, it's a different level of thinking.
That's what I'm saying.
Preparation.
Is like, why can't we think through disc golf that way?
We can. Disc golf has always been a who can throw the disc the best. Just walk up, throw the stock shot, and like execute it. And I think it is evolving into more of what golf is meant to be. Maybe some people will hate that. And also, I do want to say, I never expect disc golf to get as difficult as golf because it can't. Because
putting's too easy.
Is much too easy.
You'll never make it that hard.
It's way easier to control a frisbee than it is a golf ball. The margin for error, like it's pretty rare for you to just completely shank one the way you can a golf ball and lose control of it.
Unless you're doing a practice swing.
Yeah, unless you're doing a practice swing. But I would just like them to be controlled. And what I don't mind an event where the hot round comes in at 13 under, but that same guy the next day on the same course could shoot 2 under. Like that's what I want. What I really want is the separation. And unfortunately, the best way to do that right now is for courses to throw in OB. I would like to see it happen on the putting green because that's typically where it's going to happen. The difference between a lot of golfers' rounds going well or not is what happens on the putting green. Whereas in disc golf, that's part of it. But I mean, you mentioned Ezra Aderhold, 35th best putter, and he's putting 86% from like the you need to be making these putts zone. Like that's really high percentage. So yeah, I don't know. These are good points. It's just like the analogy of the darts to bowling thing really bothered me because it's like if we want if we are going to take a sport as complex as golf and dumb it down to bowling and darts, then we are failing because we are ruining a sport that is so much more complex than those two.
What I really like about what he said is that
I probably offended a lot of bowling and darts fans, but come on, guys.
that I do think makes a lot of sense is I like that he's saying don't make it harder by making it more random because
that's totally fair.
That does make our sport look really dumb whenever it's so random. But I also something that I haven't thought about before is what you guys are saying where like with golf they go out and they have to like there's a study element of golf where you have to study the course.
Every sport has a study element
realistically,
except for disc golf
yeah, because realistically we shouldn't this sport like on the professional level of this sport there shouldn't be someone who can roll out of bed, i.e. their car, slam a Pedialyte and get in the mix. Like, that shouldn't be able to exist.
Disc golfers are not used to having.
You should have to go out and study and be like, okay, I understand that with this green it gets really tight here, with this side is really fast, and like that should be part of it. And so maybe that seems, and I still think that there's a fine line between intentional and gimmicky. I do think that exists because some things are just like, yeah, that's way too random. Yeah. But like there is like something to be thought of maybe things that I have thought is gimmicky. Maybe if you spend more time studying and paying attention to how it reacts on certain parts, it's not random. It's just
I think some of what's considered gimmicky in disc golf is gimmicky just because the pros have told us it's gimmicky.
Right.
Whereas like something's not gimmicky if I can step up to a hole and I have a quote unquote gimmicky green. But if I can throw a consistent shot and get a consistent result every time, that's not gimmicky.
Yeah.
So because I used to be in the camp, and I'm wrong, I used to be in the camp of nothing should be within 30 feet of the basket. I think there's a lot of disc golfers that are in that camp. It's like, well, I got to the green, I should be rewarded. No. I'm now fully understand, like, there could be stuff within 15 feet of the basket on the right that makes it where if you go to the right, you're 20 feet from the basket, but you're screwed because you threw to the right.
Spot to aim for.
Yeah, so now I've got to aim to the left side of the green. So when I'm scrambling, when I'm in the fairway, I have to plan out all of my shots to make sure I have the best shot into the green to give myself an open putt because I have to think through that. Whereas before, it's just get as close to that metal thing out in the distance, make a putt.
Well, the sport's just been created with a lot of expectations that players have, and it's just one of those things where I think it makes the sport infinitely, because like, yes, the players, it matters for the players. Like they need to be somewhat enjoying what they're doing or else none of this works. But like at the end of the day, you got to have a product that people want to watch. And yeah, like back to the bowling and darts thing, like there's a reason that those sports have only made it so far, and they're old sports, really old sports. And guess what? So is golf, and golf has made it a lot further because it is a better sport.
When people shouldn't be like, pros shouldn't be frustrated by things being harder because if it's good harder, not random harder, then it's harder for everybody, which means that you still stay at the place you're at.
And the tough thing is, like, at USDGC is where this gets amplified the most, where we literally watch pros come in and we either overhear them or they'll talk to us, and it's just them talking about all of these bad breaks they got. And I think, like I said, I think it's really interesting. Like frisbees interact with the ground. They're not really meant to, right? Because they are a flat surface that lands on angles. It's not like a ball that rolls. That's a little more predictable. It's like, okay, we just know that gravity and the slope is going to do what it does to a ball. Frisbees can do a lot of weird things. They're tough to control into the ground. And I think when you go and you play Winthrop Gold, there's OB everywhere. And guess what? The ground is not perfectly maintained. It is just kind of ground. And so you're going to get bad kicks. You're going to get rollaways that are weird. And yeah, that's frustrating. So I do think that is a tough thing for disc golf, where it's like if you make the courses super difficult, but then you also have grounds that are unpredictable, that I think is what, like, that doubles up on the players, I think, and just makes them extra frustrated. So that's why I think it'd be just easier all around to just make the basket smaller. I'm on team.
I like the idea of making them shorter, not like overall shorter, but just the chain, like
Well, you could also go the Ken Climo route, where he was talking make the cages shorter again and take chains out of the basket. You gotta have
Kenny. Yeah, Kenny was. People did not like that take.
I like it.
The problem with Ken Climo's take was what he was describing was basically like,
I think we just need a can jam barrel.
Yeah, what he was describing, like if you ever putted on really old baskets, like if we go to Peaks View, it's like, yes, it does require touch, but it brings so much more luck back into the game. Because,
is it luck,
like,
though?
Yes. Like
we need to test it. I think we need to test, because like I feel pretty confident that if I practice putted on, like if Mach 3 or whatever's at peak, Mach 2, whatever's at peaks you,
I don't even think they make them anymore.
was the standard, right? And that is what I learned to putt on. I could get where I don't miss on that basket.
If you hit low enough on the pole.
Because I think the problem, but the problem is right now we take a basket that's designed for modern day disc catchers.
Yeah.
Right.
And you jam it into the center and you expect it to catch.
Right.
And then we take that to a basket that's not designed to catch that way and we jam it into the center, and when it bounces off, we call it randomness.
No, it is true.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're designing your putt for that, I mean, of course the top guys in the world can get where they don't miss a putt. I've seen Paul hit putts with nothing but a pole, 50 in a row with just a pole.
Yeah.
That is true.
And he just painted the pole and he made it.
There is definitely two like eras of putting, because back then everybody's putt, you didn't see guys throwing laser beams because they didn't go in. You saw guys putt with a lot more less
finesse.
rotation. Like they kind of just dropped putts into the basket, and now you got guys like Gannon Burr who are just ripping putts.
Yeah.
And because they catch. So like that is interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Everybody in the comments was like, oh, so like you just want good putts to spit out is what you're saying.
But then it's not a good putt.
And it's a
95% of
it's a
putts
hot
that spit
topic.
out. 95% of putts that spit out are not good putts. I'll die on that hill.
People do get pretty worked up.
Because here's the thing is, we give pros too many outs, too many excuses. They're professionals. This is their job.
job.
It is not too much to ask them to learn how to putt on the basket that's in front of them.
Yeah.
You can't take a basket that's designed for, or a putt that's designed for a Mach X and then take it to a veteran basket and then be mad that the veteran basket didn't catch.
Yeah.
You had all week to putt on the veteran. You know when you throw a 70-mile-an-hour putt dead center that it's going to come back at you.
I think the bet that pros are taking without realizing they're taking it, or some of them probably have thought through it, is if I just keep my same putt, I have a better chance of making more putts than if I have to change it every week. But
sure, I'm just saying
they still do get worked up about when it then spits out.
Yeah,
right.
If your strategy is I'm throwing this putt as hard as I can, dead center,
then you have to accept
then you can't be upset when it comes back at you because you threw it too hard for the basket.
Well, the other thing is, the funny thing is too, like the even easier step towards like a fairer and better game than even changing the baskets is just standardizing them on the tour.
Yeah.
Yes. Very true.
Well, that's step one.
That will also
like
make disc golf easier, though.
Huh?
It'll make disc golf easier.
Well, that's why
maybe not for some players.
We gotta shrink the basket down.
I never thought about shrinking the basket just.
I don't like shrinking the height, but I like shrinking the distance between the cage and the band. Because I feel like it's weird if you're just always putting
that's what
down.
I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Like,
not the
also
total.
like raising the basket.
Raise the basket. But I also like that if you miss, you still go a decent distance. Because if you're just putting down,
that would be very interesting. Because then you still have the same width.
I like that.
It's just like you're slotting it in. Yeah.
And it's still and with it shorter like that, I feel like it catches almost everything that goes in. But it's hard to go in.
Be interesting.
Because the marksman.
Somebody experiment with that.
I think we got to shrink it both ways.
Okay.
Oh, you want even
let's make a basket.
Well, basically, it's just be the hit circle.
Yeah.
Where right now you have the hit circle, but then you have like
you have to make
this
the
is
hit
definitely
circle
catching. Right now it's like this is definitely catching. And then it's like this is probably catching.
Yeah.
Well,
I want just definitely catching, not catching.
The best spot of the hit a basket is technically just a little bit off to the right of the pole. Because if you're on the pole, say if you're onto the pole, then you can sometimes get straight through to it and bounce out.
That's what I'm saying. Is like we should just have definitely catching, probably not.
Here's
catching,
a better solution.
Versus definitely catching, maybe catching, still could catch, probably not catching.
It's a beam of light, and it can detect when something breaks it, and then there you go.
Just tone pole.
That's it. It's basically that, but it's with technology.
Next we have Simon
at the course we filmed out the other day. We saw really cool innovation with baskets. Those baskets look crazy.
Yeah,
they look just like trash.
Yeah. This next one, Simon said, last weekend at a course design conference, I heard this idea from Chuck Kennedy. Instead of making OB an instant stroke penalty, the player gets the option to rethrow without a penalty or play normal OB rules. So if your tee shot goes OB 60 feet from the basket, you can choose to re-tee throwing 2 or take it 60 feet from the basket throwing 3. Is this a good idea?
I feel like OB rules are pretty fine.
Yeah, my answer was bad idea.
What's the point of that idea?
Slow play down, I think.
Yeah, I'd say that would make play even slower. That's the problem.
Because I guess it's so I threw OB, so I'd rather take my chance on this tee shot and try to get closer to have a putt out for 3 versus a 60-footer. Well, 60% of Simon's audience thought it was a good idea.
I don't think easier.
I like Simon.
Easier
I like Simon a lot, but he does have very differing opinions on like disc golf stuff like this than I do a lot of times, and also his audience agrees with him, obviously.
Well, it sounds like he didn't even have an opinion on it, right? He was just asking.
No, all of these he was just putting out there and like.
Yeah. No, he's good at having discussion. Like he doesn't bear down on any opinions. He kind of just likes to throw stuff out there, but yeah.
Oh, this is
Simon Army's gonna rip us all apart.
I'm about to go to this is what the results were after 12,000 votes. And I was voting on all of Simon's polls, and I was just every time I'd vote, my jaw would just drop because I was like, "How am I that far in the minority?" With a lot of stuff.
That's just been our whole podcast.
What I've learned after seeing the result over 12,000 votes: number one, score clusters are good. So the first thing, score clusters are good. I'm okay with that, but the way it was presented was basically like making scoring easier so that the scores get tighter. Separation's good. I don't like clusters in that respect because that's why I don't like. I'm fine with score clusters if it's like. Okay, yeah, there's like 5 guys at 17 under through 2 rounds, right, or whatever. But those guys could all fall apart next round. Yeah, I'm okay with it being tight. I'm not okay with it being like 30 people are all in the mix right now because the course is so easy.
I think disc golf, like the scoring this year was pretty good to where like most of the time the best players were winning the tournaments, and like how often like we never see blowouts.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing is. And well, most of this has to do with strength of field, but like in the birdie or die older disc golf, that's where we saw way more blowouts than we do now. Now what we have is more exciting disc golf and this like actual clusters of scoring.
Well, because there's so much pressure, and there is like birdie or die. If you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
This momentum, as much as Brody hates it, momentum can stop on a dime when your shot goes OB, and now you just took a 6, and your buddy, the guy who's chasing you, just took a 2, and it's like. There goes 4 strokes into my 7-stroke lead.
From a spectator standpoint, though, like, the score cluster, like, we don't want to see bad players not get rewarded, but the obviously...
Score clusters are good as long as it's on a course that can provide separation. Because where score clusters suck is on a course where there's a guy has a 4-stroke lead with 3 holes to play, and there's no chance he loses it.
Right.
That gets very boring very quick.
Also, I would argue, too, like, if the scoring separation was so non-existent that you had too many players in the mix, that's actually bad for spectating because there's only enough cameras for 2 cards and maybe one other person. So if we had 15 players all within like 3 strokes of each other going in the last day, that actually, while that sounds exciting to look at on the leaderboard, following it would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing it when there's like lead card and chase card are all still in the mix, or maybe 6 guys, like 2 of the guys from chase card are still in the mix, and then the 4 guys. That's great to me, but like anything more than that, it kind of just gets overwhelming from a spectator point where it's like, how am I going to keep track of this guy on 4th card that is still only 2 off the lead? That can be a little bit interesting.
Number 2, throwing farther is and should be an advantage. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Putting is not too easy. I wonder if the Pro Tour should have different targets than your average course. Then you had another poll where should the Pro Tour have different targets than your average course, which was split 50-50, yes and no.
I think they should.
I definitely think they should. But people were saying putting is not too easy. So people were saying putting's plenty hard enough, not too easy.
I think it's
most
tough
of
because most of your putts that matter happen inside of C1, and the guy who's leading almost never misses. He's 93% from there.
Well, yeah, the problem is when you ask, is putting too easy? To me, of course not, because I suck at putting. Right. Mm-hmm. But to the sport, yeah, it's way too easy.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, you got to separate that. Because
it's a tough one. It is a tough one.
Here's how you know putting's too easy. If I went out for 4 days in a row and I putted 150 times a day in my backyard, I will be a drastically different putter the next time I go to the course than right now. I can get good so fast at putting.
I think
that's not that shouldn't be true at something where like we're trying to create a future-proof sport.
People get the wrong idea too, where I'm not talking about making the basket small so that people are missing 15 footers. That would look stupid for the sport.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Pros
about
aren't going to miss 15
because they
footers.
won't. Yeah. I'm talking about making baskets small so that they're missing more 25 to 55 foot putts. That range where right now they're just jamming everything, but it would still make sense to watch a guy miss that putt and it wouldn't look stupid.
Well, I also think it should be smaller to where putts that are bad putts aren't caught.
Right.
Right now, a pro can miss his aiming point by 2 feet and it can be caught and still go in. You threw a bad putt, it shouldn't go in. That's why I think the basket should be smaller, because like good putts, the hit point on a marksman basket and the hit point of like I'm making this putt every time on a real basket are the same.
Yeah.
So that doesn't change. Like Ricky Wysocki, when he's drilling them from 60 feet, he's hitting he'd be drilling them on a marksman basket. It doesn't matter. When a guy's on, a guy's on. But what it takes away is if I'm from 60 feet and I miss 7 inches to the left, I missed that putt. But right now, there's a chance it still catches. That's what I want to take it away. Because that's the randomness of I messed up, it still went in. That shouldn't happen. If you want to see one of the worst thrown putts of all time that went in, head over to my Instagram. I posted it like 2 weeks ago. I didn't even hit chains, but the basket's so big that it just like caught the edge and flopped in somehow. And it was like the putt was one of the worst thrown putts of all time. Has to be, and it went in.
Very exciting to watch though. Loved it.
Next says we should work on eliminating OB and making a better OB rule. So basically, the audience voted that OB should disappear. Work on eliminating OB.
Eliminate OB and make a better OB rule.
Or no, make a better rule.
You know what?
We should eliminate OB and make a better rule.
You know what I liked that Brody proposed? I liked the idea on a lot of courses this would work, particularly wooded ones, where there's 2 cuts and the first line is just hazard. So you just play from there with a stroke. It acts like rough. And then the second line, like way, if you throw a really bad shot, then you're okay.
I definitely think it should be a lot more hazard in disc.
Because imagine at New London, if it played like that, obviously they have to make it OB. It's a conservation area. But
there's rumor that holes, like the first 3 holes, the right side OB might disappear.
That would kind of hurt the course, I think, a little bit.
It would help my score.
Make it a lot easier, though. But in any case, I think that would be a fun way to go about it. Like, you gotta have out of bounds.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I like OB.
Yeah, it makes, to be honest, when I go to a course and yeah, okay, I don't play a lot of competitive
OB might be the most
golf.
predictable part of our game. It's always OB.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like,
just don't throw there.
Tree kicks are the random thing. Like, whether you throw sometimes it's like a bad shot can end up in a better place than an almost good shot because of where you hit a tree. But like OB, it's just there.
Yeah.
Like you just throw it towards it. Like I think OB makes this sport more fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's an obstacle. It's cool. Like when I step up to an island green, even if it's just flagged, that is more fun to me. I'm like, oh, cool. We have like a target more than just throw it towards the basket. There's like something to aim at. Some people just don't. I don't understand. I think people want to play disc golf and just be robots and be like, there's basket, throw to basket. Instead of like having to think about how they're playing it and being like, okay, maybe, like, why don't you want to be more analytical? It makes our sport endlessly more.
Well, you do have to think, like, if I'm just because I think there's 2 different sides of a sport, right? And what golf has done is it's evolved over time and everything's evolved together. So it just is understood if I go out to a golf course and I break 100, I played a pretty decent good golf round, better than average golf round, right? Even though I shot 20 over par. 25 over par. Whereas like disc golf, like there's 2 different sports going on within one. Because like if I'm a weekender, right? If I play casual disc golf as much as I do, which is like maybe once a month, twice a month, casual disc golf. I play a lot for videos, but once or twice a month I get out to play a casual round. It is more fun if I get to go out and just birdie everything. Yeah. That is objective. Like, that is more fun.
I don't know. That wasn't. Whenever like, I was like, the very first couple years playing, I wanted to play the hardest layout at every course. I wanted to be punished by the course. That was
was but I'm saying, like, right now I see pros shooting 16 under. I want to go shoot 16 under.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's all about what the
I don't like OB. Like, I love OB, but I'm saying I could see where a weekender would be like, there's plenty of guys that go and play their local course and don't play the OB there.
Yeah.
Don't play the Mandos.
I'm going to say, there's just a lot of disc golfers who don't like negative feedback.
There can be 2 different rules, right? Because if you go to a PGA Tour event, what they've done is they've made it where golf scores the same for pros and for AMs. But how they do it is the tee locations, the fairway cut, the rough, how fast the green is, all of that changes when the PGA Tour comes to town, right? True. To where when they play that course, even if you're a guy who plays that course every week, when the PGA Tour rolls to town, your scoring would get drastically worse if you showed up to play that course again because the course would play completely different. Disc golf, we can't really do that, but we still need to treat the tour differently. So like OB, smaller baskets, stuff like that needs to happen on tour, right? And then the scoring will still look the same to us because like Timbrook Park down the road isn't going to put in marksman baskets tomorrow. Right? They're still going to have the same baskets. Just because the tour went to marksman basket doesn't mean you have to go to marksman baskets. So, because if not, disc golf's going to keep evolving. We just got to the era where players are making millions of dollars and they don't have to worry about what they do on the course. Some of those players, sure, are going to put it in park and they're just going to stay where they are. But what that's going to do is other players who are making $250,000 and they know they could make $1 million a year, they're about to get so freaking good at disc golf because now they can hire personal trainers. Now they can go get stretched out every other week. Now they can pick and choose what tournaments they go to. We're entering an era of disc golf where players are about to get so freakishly good at this sport that the modern day quote unquote tough courses are going to get, eaten up. Like W.R. Jackson used to be a tough course. Players used to go there and it was hard to get to double digits. Guys go out there and it looks like a laughing stock when they shred it because guys are getting so good at this sport. We have to future-proof it. If we keep making it easier now, then 18 under is just going to be a normal round at the course for guys, which is ridiculous.
That's what it's like with the whole putting thing. I don't think people realize that if you super glued a penny to the wall, how many pros would be able to hit the penny over and over and over again? So
pros
making
are
the
good,
baskets
guys.
harder
Really
is just.
I think that I think that right now it's best we're young enough and the sport hasn't gotten to like some chokehold where the players are out there not scoring and having fun. That just isn't happening. Like players are still shredding courses. I think we just need to let it go for right now. There can absolutely be a breaking point. I'm not going to deny that. Like even golf, there was a lot of lashback when I believe the USGA was talking about restricting golf balls that can be used because golf technology has evolved a ton. Courses have had to try and keep up with guys hitting the ball further, spinning it more, doing this and that. And, they started talking about making it more difficult once again, and this time restricting the equipment. And I think Justin Thomas was the one that was like, said it was ridiculous. He was like, I don't know about you guys, but when I go out and make a bunch of birdies, I'm having it like I've never once gone out there, made a bunch of birdies and said that wasn't very fun. And, it's a different point because golf is way harder. But I think there can be a point where like, if we got to the point where we were just taking all the life out of disc golf to try and force some score, then I agree. But I just don't think we're there.
We're not there yet. No.
I don't really.
Close.
They're trying to get guys to shoot just like 12 under instead of 16 or 17 under. Yeah. Golf's trying to get guys to shoot 1 or 2 under instead of 7 or 8 under.
Or like over par.
Yeah, or over par. That's completely different.
Golf can be a bunch of weirdos sometimes with how it's mostly the USGA because they have the US Open and they like to make those guys try and shoot like they try to make them miserable basically. That's not the goal here. The goal is just to create
the goal is to make courses the best players can rise to the top.
Right, courses where there's separation and if you got guys that are all shooting like 16 under, then that's just not that's just not really separation.
The next point I think everyone will agree with, disc golf round should be shorter.
Yes.
I think that makes sense.
Good one.
And then putting for eagle is okay because he's basically saying should eagle be something where you only throw-ins can happen. No. I think a drivable par 4 with a risk reward is good.
It is, I say it's my favorite. I think that in disc golf, the eagle scenarios need to come with a risk reward. I think when it's just purely, you throw far enough to get there, then it's maybe a little too easy just because, once again, how easy putting can be. It's not like you're earning yourself a 2-putt like you would in golf. You could be getting really easy putts for eagle. I do like it. Like my favorite eagle scenarios are like par 4 where you can try and clear something or lay up and take the easier bird like at USDGC hole 10.
Yeah. 10's gotten a bit too easy, but yes.
But holes like that, or a par 5 where it's that same scenario but on the second shot. I like that the most. But yeah, it's totally fine. It's just a score.
Then he went back to putting up more polls after this. Should the Disc Golf Pro Tour care more about playing the best courses or playing in the best locations? 85% said the course is more important. 15% said the location is more important.
85% do not care about the well-being of the Pro Tour, I guess.
Yeah. I voted location's more important.
It has to be the location.
The course is more important if you're a player, sure. But for the sustainability of the tour, it's all about location.
Yeah, so I disagree because they need the tour to make money.
Like if you're going out there and all you care about is like what's in front of you, then you want to play the best courses every time. Yeah. But if the best course is in Timbuktu and there's only one hotel nearby and the population of that town's 50 people,
and I say that not being ignorant. I've been to like a lot of different places in this country, and I know that I think that they can have both. I think they can have good courses in good locations or near good locations with accommodations. I don't think that it's like a one or the other thing, and that's why I say this so strongly. I'm not just like, I don't care if you're playing in some random park as long as it's near Charlotte. No, like there are good courses in Charlotte. Just like there are good courses near city centers in Texas and wherever they might go. I think that they make sacrifices to honor tradition and disc golf communities, but it's like, well, you got like listen to what lacrosse had to do to get their sport off the ground. Lacrosse for years was trying to operate like any other sport where, teams had cities, that's where they played. Well, when the PLL came along, they reinvented the sport by doing a touring model, and their whole focus behind that touring model was, we are just going to go where the most lacrosse fans are across the country, and that's where we're going to play our games. We don't that's all that matters. Obviously, they don't have to use courses; they just need facilities. And now they've gotten to a point where they've grown enough to where now they're just introducing teams, cities to their teams. Like, that helped them grow. So I think disc golf, there are enough places, and I think I don't think they're completely ignoring this point. I think that the ones that they're holding on to, such as the Emporias of the world, are because of nostalgia and tradition and connections and relationships. I think if it's up to the Pro Tour to choose a new location, they're going to choose it based on where the people are.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, the only thing they're running into right now is like they put 3 tournaments in Texas, right, back to back. Yeah. 2 of them, Waco and Austin, are an hour and a half from each other, and they're back-to-back weekends.
Yeah,
you're pulling from the same audience twice.
That
so
is
even though you're
close,
close, like, sure, you're close to Austin, and then Waco's close to Dallas, great. But if I'm in Dallas and a Pro Tour's in Austin, I can make the 3-hour drive. Or if I'm in Austin and a Pro Tour's in Waco, I can make the hour and a half drive. So, like, the tournament in Waco is close enough that you can draw people, right? But now you're drawing the same audience twice, which means neither event's going to be well attended.
That is a tough problem to solve. It's like, you do want separation in the event so that, like,
it happened with Charlotte when you have USDGC and then you had the Tour Championship next week.
You want to only draw from a location like once every so often, or once even on the whole tour, to make sure you get that population center the most you can, and then you don't have to like split them.
Yeah.
But then also you don't want the tour to have to drive like hundreds and hundreds of miles every single stop. Like, there's a balance there, but yeah, you're right. Like, having that many in Texas is going to be weird. That whole swing of the tour. There's a reason that it always feels like the tour picks up momentum a lot of times when it does get, kind of start coming back this way, because I feel like they hit really good spots and they hit them like nice distances apart. But there's just some outliers of like, I mean, you see some ghost towns out there on tour, and that just shouldn't happen. There's not enough like events for it to be that watered down, I feel like.
No. Well, I think there's just some communities that would show up with a ton of pros, with a ton of fans. They're just underserved because of lack of course. Yeah. Like I understand we played Vista and we played Fountain Hills. Neither of those courses in their current format can be on the Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. Pros would destroy them. But that community would show up. Yeah. If you were to get a good Pro Tour in Arizona, in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
If you're able to get a good Pro Tour event in near LA or San Francisco, or obviously like Beaver State's up in the Pacific Northwest, but like, there's a lot of areas that are underserved right now, and obviously they probably aren't going to those locations for other reasons. But there's a lot of areas that are underserved that, like, triple dipping in Texas is not going to be as good spectator-wise as just hitting. I mean, obviously they're hitting Florida this year. That'll be very interesting to see. But like, there's a lot of really thriving disc golf communities that are just being missed right now. They could show up like Charlotte shows up, because like USDGC, there's 5,000 to 7,000 people there every day, and it's crazy, and it makes the environment so much better. Obviously when they go to Europe, it's like that. That's possible in the US. It's just we got to pick and choose better.
And I think disc golf, like, you can't underestimate the model of like, let's just create an interesting spectacle and go near people and try and make it interesting to them as well. Like, let's go really close to big cities. Let's make it affordable, easy to navigate, and let's sell food and beverage and like make it a fun time.
What I would be curious is it happening is, like, in my opinion, a big part, or maybe not a big part, but a solid chunk of the Pro Tour's marketing budget should be like local radio and local news stations the weeks leading up. Yeah. Like, when Worlds comes here, I better hear on 94.9 Star Country, big giveaway station. They better be giving away VIP passes to Worlds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because then
get it out there.
Like, the local, as much as radio isn't used, it's still used quite a bit locally, to where like every one of my aunts, uncles, father-in-law, they watch the news every night. Can't be that expensive to put a little segment on the news at local station.
We'll get on there. We're volunteering ourselves.
Yeah.
We will get on the news station.
In my opinion, that should be something that's weeks ahead. you're sending Edge Disc Golf to the local schools the week before.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, you know what? Not only are we here teaching how to play disc golf, there's actually a pro disc golf tournament this weekend.
Get your parents to bring you out.
Yeah. There's pizza, there's beverages, there's a concert series, blah, blah, blah. And then you're moving on. That should be a huge push of how you grow the sport and grow the pro tour, is like getting into the local community the week before, not the local disc golf community, the local community, and saying, hey, this huge spectacle is coming to town. Right. There's going to be food truck. It's basically a festival, and there's Frisbees.
Yeah. Well, I think disc golf has always thought that the model, and this is going to be the model most of the time, like we've always thought the model is have people find the sport of disc golf through like seeing it at a park or trying it out and then go to the pro scene. Who's to say it can't be, I found the pro scene because they're in my local area and I decided to check it out, and then I decided to start playing disc golf. We have people who find our channel before they start playing disc golf. Yeah. And then they buy discs to start playing.
A lot of people.
That I think sometimes disc golf works in the other way, and that will probably be the most successful model. But like, why can't we work in reverse sometimes? Let's just put it in front of their face. Because like, I mean, that's how a lot of us get into hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you see something on YouTube that you've never done before, mine lately has been woodworking.
Yeah.
I've got into whittling that way. I've gotten into, like, that's how I got really into table tennis.
Got into whittling. I never saw my chess piece. I never saw my chess piece.
Oh, I got in already.
You had the gloves, man.
But I'm just saying, like, that can be a way that people get into hobbies. They don't have to just, like, start playing it first. They can see it.
Oh, yeah. Try going to a Pro Tour event, never throwing a disc before, and then not having to throw a disc afterwards.
Oh, like, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a rodeo, and I had to ride a bull.
Exactly, Hunter. Astute observation.
No, but like, astute. Rodeos do a heck of a job promoting when they're coming to town. The amount of rodeos that I've went to with no care in the world about professional bull riding.
That's what I'm saying.
This ain't my first rodeo. If I go to another one, I'll put it that way.
Oh, come on.
And if it's a good time to where, like, me as a disc golf fan can invite my non-disc golf friends because I'm like, no, this is just a good time. Like, you're just going to enjoy this. Because I've been to a PGA Tour golf event. I can tell you right now that non-golf people would love that because that is just cool.
My wife is begging me to go to one. Just because I described the experience. She loves USDGC too.
Yeah, it's a great time. Yeah, USDGC is the closest thing to it.
They're going to be fascinated watching a pro throw 500 feet.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? Next one was should pro disc golfers dress like pro golfers? 67% voted no, 33% voted yes.
No, I would say no.
I voted no.
Yeah, I think that disc golf is leaning into a happy medium where as long as we are wearing professional looking attire. I honestly, as much as the disc golf jersey thing kind of makes me squirm a little, I think that there is disc golf has settled into a happy medium where these disc golfers are wearing a high quality shirt that fits them, except for Calvin. They're always way too big on him. But they're wearing that, they're coordinating an outfit and they're able to still show off a little flair. Which I think that's a happy compromise.
Because it also has to be somewhat athletic and breathable because they're like leaning around trees and climbing through briars and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think disc golf is honestly settling into a pretty good place in the wardrobe where it doesn't. I never really find myself ever getting upset about somebody's attire anymore. And
you know what I think's changed?
What?
The pants.
Money.
Yeah, players have money.
When you get more money, it's a lot easier to find stuff to fit you better.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're not. I mean, then you don't have to go get Russell Brand
regulate
shorts.
the pants.
I do remember regulate the pants. I do think the pants change a lot of things.
Regulate the pants.
Because if you have 13-inch inseam and one shorts, we've all worn them, comfortable, do not look good. Okay, maybe we haven't all worn them.
I saw a picture of Konner wearing them on a skateboard the other day.
You might be right. Yeah.
Well, you just walked into Walmart and had one shorts. That's what you bought.
I think my brother-in-law passed them down to me.
Nah, you just bought them. And they just don't look great.
They don't look great, guys.
Next thing you know, you head over to Lululemon or Fabletics or something. You're what are these inches next to the size of large?
TJ Maxx.
Why does it say 7-inch or 9-inch?
Yeah.
And then you buy, and next thing you know, stuff starts fitting you better.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I honestly think that is a big thing. And then the next step
fitting clothes is a big deal.
Why I've stopped caring that much about it is obviously eventually all pros will have an apparel sponsor and they will be being dressed.
I think that's also a big thing. And then it won't even
matter. The dress code won't matter because everyone on lead card will been dressed by a stylist.
How have we not made disc golf jerseys like foundation ones?
We've made those like 2-button
We
polo.
made the polos, but I'm saying like we never made like the typical disc golf jersey.
Because we don't like how they look, Trevor.
I don't hate them anymore.
Are we going to play paintball
Wow,
or are we
Trevor.
playing?
No. I've said. I literally just said I don't hate them anymore.
I know that's crazy.
I don't
because
hate
you
them.
hated them like
I did.
pretty recently.
Well, there are still ones that here's the problem with the disc golf
Are
jersey.
you okay with the number on the back?
No.
Okay.
Here's the problem with the disc
At least
golf.
we're semi on the same
The
page.
disc golf jersey is a blank template, so therefore they can be so hideous. I have seen some just in the last month that
real
are
gaudy.
gross. And when Dickerson goes out there, sorry Chris, and wears a plaid looking one, like
I kind of like that.
I kind of dig that.
Okay,
Because
what?
that leans into Tennessee a little bit.
I'm just
the
saying,
one I have problems with is if there's 4 different type of camos. Stop. You're doing something wrong.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying they can get a little out of control, but some of them are very tasteful and cool.
My main thing is all of, like the brands, like they like all of their sponsors and unfortunately a lot of disc golf like company logos are really
Yeah,
awful.
that's true.
So
That
they're just
doesn't
like
help.
covered in logos everywhere of every little sponsor that you have, and all of them are
Well,
different
apparel
colors.
sponsors will also get rid of that because apparel
Yeah.
sponsors, that's the
Yeah,
only
that's
logo on
true.
there. I'm not too worried about it because apparel sponsors I think will fix everything.
It's only certain apparels.
Well, okay, a disc golf apparel company won't give 2 fricks.
Yeah,
But I'm saying like if you have Under Armour or Nike coming in, you're not gonna have Nike and then you're gonna have 15 different logos on the back.
no, yeah, Nike,
Because then Nike's gonna get
Nike
swallowed
you
out.
never see paired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the jerseys, I'm not like pressed about them, but like they can look awful like that. But that just comes down to the.
I don't think
people's
it's like the
design.
jersey itself. I think
No,
it's
it's-
just
yeah,
what's
it's not
on
the
it.
Well,
shirt
the jersey's just a
itself.
dry fit.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Dry fit shirts can look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you say disc golf jersey,
Why do we even call them
immediately
jerseys?
I
Why do
hate
we
it.
call them jerseys?
I don't know. Yeah, let's just call them. What should we call them?
Sublimated dry fits?
Shirts,
That's too long.
subbies,
make
Sub
up our-
dry.
subbies. They're subbies.
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 Yeah.
Okay,
The disc golf subbies.
That's fun. Subbies.
Should there be a limit on the amount of discs you can carry in tournament? This one was pretty close. 46% yes, 54% no. I voted no.
Nah.
I say
Simply because if you lose them is the big factor here.
Yeah.
I say yes, but I think that when I say yes, I'm not saying 20 discs. I think the limit should be like 30, 32. I don't hate the idea that a guy loses a disc and then that affects his round. I think that's
Well, I think that
strategy.
happens either way. But yeah. Well, okay, so I could be team like 36 disc
Yeah,
limit.
I'm like putting it on a cap to where you just don't have anything
It's reasonable.
ridiculous going on.
Yeah.
Right. Because I do think like if a guy has a Zuka cart,
We should ban Zuka
and he's
carts.
got 50 to 60 discs in there. It's just like, all right, what are we doing?
Why in golf don't they use the push carts? Like why can't caddies use the wheels?
Because they would probably get bullied.
Is that the only no? Like, is there a PGA Tour rule against?
I don't
it?
know if there's a rule or not. Like if you watch like competitive junior golf, they don't have caddies and they just push them. That's typically what they use. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was a rule. It also wouldn't surprise me if it was just like, well, who's gonna be the first caddy to do that?
I think if
Like,
we're
if you-
worried, back to Simon's first point.
If
If
you
we're
can't
worried
walk
about the
18
optics
holes-
of the sport,
Yeah.
we need to ban carts.
Because like those bags they use are really nice, and like if you're not swinging the golf club. If you can't carry around a bag for 18 holes for your guy, then like you probably just aren't the right guy for the job.
I'd agree.
And like you take it off your back too. Like you're not holding it on your back the whole time.
I think we ban carts.
It's pretty easy.
I think we ban carts for the optics of the
For
sport.
the optics.
For the optics.
I think carts
All
are
right, it's time for a
fine.
fan favorite
Hunt,
segment.
that's insensitive. Some people like carts, Hunter.
That's fine. I'm not. One
I'm
of
just
them.
I don't
trying-
think I would.
I'm just
I don't
trying to
think
make
the carts
everybody
would
happy.
bother me as much if it weren't for those handles being so long. And then it's like they look like they're just like these big old handles and then these just squares attached to them.
A lot of people use carts.
That's fine. A lot of
I
people.
don't. What do you mean? Yeah, we've
a lot of
already.
people carry ugly disc golf
Yeah,
bags.
like
Whoa, Hunter!
They do.
Don't come after people with
I-
ugly disc golf bags.
listen. The cart thing doesn't get me nearly as worked up as Hunter. I don't.
I just don't like them.
I really don't have a problem with them. I do think they do look a little weird though. The long handles attached to just a big
Bucket.
rectangle at the end. Like maybe
I understand the
maybe there's not a
convenience.
better way to do it.
I'm just gonna carry a 5-gallon bucket.
Here's what I'll say. If-
I don't. I'll never. I could see myself being persuaded towards like Zuka carts, Delta carts. I'll never get behind the strollers.
Oh yeah, those are ugly.
Yeah,
If
never
I-
get behind that.
if-
Whatever big germ that's just like a golf cart.
I
That,
don't get that.
I
don't
don't-
get it.
well, they're built for golf bags.
that's what I'm saying.
Why
No,
are you
the
using
one that's
that?
built for golf bags. That
Why
he
are
just
you
puts.
using that?
I'll never.
A lot of they make
I'm
ones
not even
that
gonna say
are
the name of
actually
the brand, but-
self-propelled. That like
What?
you can like walk behind and just like press a remote.
For golf, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same principle. As you just don't want to push you want just
Well,
the
and also
easiest
golf
possible
fairways
way.
are like manicured. There's like no way you could do that on a disc golf course.
Well, some of them, but not all.
Not a
They
good
do have
one.
bigger. Like they usually have pretty intense tires on them.
Big ties.
I don't know.
Time for fan favorite segment, Trevor's Trivia.
Come on, Trev, hit us
Talk
with
about
it.
a first half of the podcast. People are just.
We're probably
Half?
I can.
we're basically done.
Do you know where we're at?
We're probably 52 minutes.
Hour 10, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Good time.
This is going to be a 2-hour-long podcast.
That
Yeah.
flew.
I'm not even kidding.
I can practically see the smoke coming off of the keyboards of people typing right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
I
I,
love
can
it.
smell it. It might just be the wildfires.
It's probably
though.
the wildfire smoke. I've
we're
had to
doing
do all my runs
trivia
on a
things that we're
treadmill.
doing. The trivia thing.
I'd rather die. Yeah, trivia.
Okay, this is how this is gonna work.
I'd rather carry my discs on a cart than have to
So-
run on a
Ooh,
treadmill.
that's bad.
Some
Yeah.
guy on Reddit made a really cool chart showing like people's sponsorship paths because I was looking around for that and somebody made me a chart. Well, they didn't make me a chart.
Make him a chart.
So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna read. This is like. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Paul's sponsorship path would simply be Innova Discraft. That would
Okay.
be his path.
Yep.
So I'm gonna read the path and then first one to yell out the player wins.
Got it.
Oh, that's fun.
And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Five,
Some of these
good.
are really difficult. Some are not. Okay.
Sometimes whenever we do games like this and it's me like a speed thing, my brain shuts off. So just don't be like if
I won't be mad
Hunter
at you.
just
It's
gets
okay.
every one of them, just don't get mad at me.
There's only 5 of them, so it'll be over
Okay,
quick.
because I'm just like just having a good time.
There's at least 1 or 2 of these he will not get instantly. I would be shocked.
Okay.
Okay, very first one. Discraft Prodigy Innova. And if you name a player I didn't have written down, but they meet the criteria,
Jeremy Colling.
I'll accept it. I shouldn't have interrupted you while he was thinking, but yeah, it is Jeremy Colling.
That's okay.
Yeah. Like if I
Not who I was gonna say.
they had one player provided, but if you name one and it's not the one written down and it checks out, then it'll count. Okay, number 2. Discraft Westside Innova.
Who went to West Side?
This is one of the tougher ones.
Discraft West Side. Who was even on
Yeah,
West
who
Side?
went from West Side to Innova?
Who started at Discraft?
West Side?
I didn't even know about this.
West Side to Innova. Okay, who's on Innova? Is it like is like Dark Horse Greg Barsby or something?
Yep,
Oh!
it's Barsby.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. He was on Westside for like 2 seasons.
How did
Dang.
you? Where did you pull that from?
I think he
I was
thinking
just thinking
people.
of Innova people and people who are old enough to have careers that we weren't aware of or have
That's
like
great.
bits of
Good line of thought. Wow.
I was going FPO. My mind just like
Oh.
it can't be it because I just assumed Barsby was always with.
that.
I don't even remember Barsby with Discraft.
Well, we wouldn't have remembered
Very
anyone with
beginning
disc
of his
golf.
career.
Yeah.
The
That's
only way
But
you know about Barsby
anybody with
Discraft
Discraft back then, we wouldn't really know about because that was before
There's
Discraft was.
there's
like,
one of
you
the
know?
old Discraft tutorial videos. Barsby is in it.
Oh,
But I didn't know about the
Fascinating.
Westside thing. Okay,
Wow.
this one is maybe the toughest one. I'm gonna save it for last. I'm gonna skip it.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, the next one, Innova Latitude Prodigy Westside.
Matteo.
Correct.
Nice.
The West Side
Nice.
kind of narrows
Yeah,
down
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
quick. All right, 2 more. Discraft Innova Prodigy Discraft.
Aaron Gossage.
Discraft Innova Prodigy back to Discraft.
He was. He has not been with that many companies. I've just been waiting for a Prodigy Discraft. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think Gossage was on Prodigy, was he?
What was Gossage on before
I didn't
Discraft?
know that he was
Innova.
on anything before Discraft. I don't know
Prodigy
anything about him.
back to
I think he was on
Discraft.
Prodigy.
He
Wasn't
just
he?
kind of emerged like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he just was Discraft. I think he just went straight
Why did I think
Discraft.
he was on Prodigy?
I don't know.
Maybe he was. I don't know.
stupid.
I don't think so.
Say it again.
Discraft
Discraft
Innova
Innova-
Prodigy Discraft.
Discraft, Innova, Prodigy, Discraft. Is FPO on this list?
No.
Okay. Discraft, Innova, Prodigy, Discraft. Who went from Prodigy to Discraft?
Bro, frick this. I don't know.
Ulibari.
Yep. Wow.
Innova. Wow, I forgot his Innova days.
Yeah.
Okay, tied up. Going
Woo!
around one. Good for you, Connor.
Do
I
I
did my
have 2?
job.
I don't have 2. He's beating me.
No, you got 2. Matty O and Colling.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Okay, here's the last one. This is the toughest one. Gateway Innova Prodigy Latitude Innova.
Johnny McCrae. Nope.
I like that though. That was a
Gateway-
great guess.
Wait, say it again.
because he's played on like a lot of those teams.
Yeah.
Gateway Innova Prodigy Latitude Innova.
Gateway, Innova, Prodigy, Latitude.
But super crazy one that I did not know about.
Latitude, Innova.
I was with Latitude. And they're still with Innova right now?
Yes. Have been for a while. I think the Latitude stint was like only 1 season.
Is it Calvin? Where was Calvin? Was Calvin anywhere before Innova? That's what I thought.
I'm trying to think who the frick was with Latitude.
I believe it was like 1 season with Gateway.
Innova, Prodigy, Latitude.
Yeah,
Innova?
there was a couple with Prodigy.
Holy darn.
Kind of during that era when they first came up. Then the Latitude for a season, and then been with Innova for a while.
Where was Nate Sexton before Innova?
I think Sexton was always with Innova.
That's what I thought too.
He definitely wasn't with Latitude. That's the Latitude that keeps throwing me off. Because like Gateway, I mean...
Well, a lot of people can start with Gateway.
Yeah, like Gateway, I mean, you could have thrown just Wizards and been on Team Gateway. So like Gateway's not throwing me off.
There's a reason that makes this one especially tough. I'll give you a hint because this player had a break in their career. So a lot of these things happened maybe like earlier, and then there was a break, and then they came back.
Josh Anton?
No, good guess though.
David Wiggins.
He's always been with Innova. Since he was like 10. Probably since he was born.
I don't know.
Let me try and
There's
find.
someone in my head. Who's the hop guy?
Brinster?
Brinster.
Dang
it.
Give me some like wins they had.
The best
Philo Brathwaite?
No, this player.
That's a good guess.
When he said to wins,
this player has a Tour Series disc with Innova.
Okay.
Currently.
That is a driver.
Oh wow.
Currently.
Okay.
Currently have a Tour Series Innova disc?
Okay, I'm just thinking about
Joel Freeman?
No, good guess.
Was it a good guess?
Yeah, I think so.
Garrett Gerthy.
There it is.
You know how I got there?
How?
He said good guess, and I was like, what could tie Joel Freeman to someone else on Innova? I was like, oh, the gaudy jerseys. Garrett Gerthy.
Garrett Gerthy.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Winner.
That was a fun game, Trevor.
Give
That's
me
a
my
really fun
chicken
game.
dinner.
Give him his chicken dinner, guys.
So the PDGA has rescheduled Champions Cup to the middle of June, end of June. Problem.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Shocker, they rescheduled it. Who could have ever seen that
I really
coming?
do need to clip. I need to go back and clip whenever you first announced it because you literally said, like, I'll be talking to you in a month whenever they reschedule.
Yeah.
Like you said that.
Newly scheduled June dates, though.
Could give you your flowers.
There's a large amount of people who are starting to complain because it conflicts with the Swedish Open, a European DGPT event in the middle of the growing Europe swing. Here's the thing we've learned. First off, probably going to reschedule it again because you have a lot of big names upset about this. Second thing we've learned. Apparently the Europe swing was going to pull more pros than we thought. Remember we were like, no one's going to go play the Europe swing if they do a split. Eagle McMahon, very upset. Paul said, you know where I'll be, and put the Swedish flag like he's not even going to play Champions Cup.
Well, those two pros don't surprise me.
Obviously, Niklas and Vino, they're up. They don't know if they should come because they were planning to play in Europe, so they don't know if they should now there's a major in the middle of it. I think it was Eagle.
Nightmare.
I think it was Eagle that wrote a lot of big name pros were really excited about the Europe swing. So, tough to see this happen.
It's gonna. Remind me when the Europe swing happens in the U.S. schedule.
I think it's because this is going in between Preserve and something else.
I'm starting to imagine this scenario where 5 big pros go over to Europe, 5 to 8. And all of a sudden we have this thing where there's one event happening in Europe where all the fun players to watch are, but the field isn't full. And then we've got these other events in the U.S. where the field is more full, but all the best players aren't here. And we basically have 2 incomplete, not as good disc golf events happening.
Yeah, that could very easily happen.
That's where this whole European swing thing is confusing me because it's I think they may be making a mistake there.
They made a huge mistake. I didn't think it before because I was like, well, surely pros will choose the events over here with history. But I think a lot of pros
they just want to go
really
to Europe.
Excited about going to Europe.
And they're like, oh, we can just go earn points because we're the only certain ones of us can afford to go over there.
Yeah, and so it'd be really easy to win full-on pro.
It's classism.
But anyways, a growing amount of European and American pros have complained about the newly scheduled June dates because it conflicts with Swedish Open. PDGA Europe has expressed their opinion and conveyed the feedback from European members to the PDGA. The new PDGA Europe General Manager, Juuso Nieminen, wrote in European Player Facebook group. They are aware of the issues this change would cause, and the situation is currently being reviewed. So the way he wrote, they are aware of the issues this change would cause, makes me think were they aware of it before they made the decision?
No, I bet they were.
And the situation currently, here's what I think happened. Is I think the PDGA saw the dates and were like, well, this is the one that fits the best because they put it at Northwoods Black. Mm-hmm. So the plan is Northwood Black for the Champions Cup, and then Ledgestone is only going to be at Eureka Temp. I think that the PDGA made this decision thinking in their heads, well, no one's probably playing the Europe swing really anyways. And so then players can just choose to, like, there's so many big events going on around this that they weren't thinking it was really going to be a big confliction. Mm-hmm. And then once they started getting pushback, it was a typical, in my eyes, from what we're seeing on Facebook, a typical PDGA announce first, ask for permission after.
Yeah, they're like the kings of that at this point. I'll tell you what, if I'm any of the TDs around that European swing, I am shaking in my boots right now because it sounds like you might not be getting players.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Well, I think the PDGA will end up rescheduling the Champions Cup again because enough of the big, loud players are going to be upset.
I'm nervous about this European swing thing.
No, this got me nervous about it. That was a bigger story point.
Why don't they just ask for feedback before they
Well,
make announcements?
No, that's the simple thing is before you schedule it first time, ask for feedback. Yeah. And then you would have thought by the overwhelming amount of feedback they got, they would have at least asked for feedback the second time when they rescheduled it.
Yeah, seriously.
And now they're getting more other feedback from, because it'd be one thing if it's like, okay, you have like guys who are like 20th, 30th in the world giving you feedback, but it's like Paul McBeth and Eagle McMahon.
Yeah.
Like number 1 and 2 we're going
like
to for
the first
feedback.
Two guys you should have like reached out
like
to.
these guys who are like, hey, y'all are probably the 2 most likely to go to Europe. If we put Champions Cup here, what do you think? And they're like responding on Facebook, like Eagle's just saying, well, this is not good on Facebook. Like he saw it the first time when I saw the post.
Yeah.
So anyways, because Nicholas Antela said we have one stretch outside the U.S. next year, and now we have a major in the U.S. at the same time. Doesn't make any sense. Seems like they don't care about Europe. There won't be any Americans playing the early part of the DGPT Europe now. I might skip Champions Cup and play in Europe. I care about majors more than anything, but this feels wrong.
I care about majors more than anything except for this.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens here.
I'm trying to like, okay. So we have Portland is the Pro Tour Plus, and then Beaver State Fling happens, but
the same weekend as the Turku Open?
I say the Turku Open is the next weekend. So Turku Open, so Preserve, and then Preserve happens, and then that's where Champions Cup was going to be, and the Swedish Open. So Preserve, Des Moines, those two are going to be the ones that get eaten up.
Preserve, Des Moines, and possibly Beaver State because it's the week before.
So, like, that's a bummer because
those are fun events.
And
Champions Cup, maybe.
Yeah. So those would be the 2 to 3 that would potentially be on the chopping block as far as like pros might just not show up and have super weak fields. That's sorry to those of you in Iowa. Right?
I would just
Des Moines?
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
That could be a real bummer for you.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the newest update. Champions Cup has been rescheduled. No one's surprised there.
What a mess.
But they rescheduled it to the middle of the Europe swing. So
wait.
And
Why did they?
Sorry. And they put it in June. They put the major in June.
So why can't it go to its old date? Because
April?
Because they plan the rest of the schedule around it being at the end of the year, instead of just like doing.
Yeah, there is a weekend around that time. Because I remember pointing it out.
Yeah.
It could still be in the Southeast. Because I think I said you could just do it at Nevin in Charlotte.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen.
That's what makes the most sense. Is just find it in April because we need a major in April. Because right now, where they moved it is sure it's earlier in the season, but it's going to be Champions Cup and then there's like 2 events and then European Open.
I'm sorry.
So now there's going to be 2 majors in like 4 weeks.
But all I can think about is how confusing we're going to be trying to figure out who the player of the year is, and we're gonna be like, well, okay, the European swing wins only count for like 0.96, and the Preserve in Des Moines, because nobody was here, only count for like 0.72 wins. That's gonna be such a mess.
Yeah,
oh
they should have.
The
European Tour need to have no connection to the Pro Tour. Like the Pro Tour could own it, but the points should not cross.
Yeah,
like that whole point cross mess, like, because that's what's tough is like. If I'm a pro who can afford to go to Europe, why wouldn't I? Because I have a guaranteed weaker field, no matter how many of my buddies travel. A guaranteed weaker overall field where I can earn points.
And I'm gonna go to Europe.
And I get to go to Europe.
Come on, guys.
Win-win-win. Time for the last segment, disc golf in the bag.
Let's hit him with it.
Connor, you won last time. You decided the order. Quick shout out to our podcast, by the way, in the bag. If you ever want to hear thought processes on why people put certain discs in their bag, you like watching in the bags, you like thinking through what shot selection and stuff like that. It's a fun podcast hosted by Robbie C. and All Business Brad. You can check it out on the podcast network. But Connor, what's the order for today?
I'll go ahead and I'll give myself first.
Okay.
Just for funsies, I haven't been first.
Okay.
And I'll go me, Hunter, Trevor.
Cool. All right, and today's prompt
I doubt we're going to have same ones. For
No,
this.
I don't
Today's
think so.
prompt is the best doubles team names.
Best doubles team names. I'll go ahead and warn you.
Con?
I accidentally got stuck in a certain theme.
Oh, boy.
Could not get out of it.
Okay.
But I wrote down many, but I have picked ahead of time which ones I'm going to choose.
Smart. Good.
So
Smart.
I
Good.
would, yeah.
What's your first one?
Start them off. The Pillsbury Throw Boys.
That's
Oh,
very
here we
good.
go.
That's very good.
Is it me next?
Yeah, it's you, Hunt.
I definitely spelled Pillsbury wrong.
That's a great one. Pillsbury
Thank
Throw
you.
Boys. That's fun.
I thought of that
I'm gonna
as I
just
was brushing
take-
my teeth.
I'm going to take an easy one here, which is the Bogey Bros.
I had that on my list.
I feel like
I was
that.
going to say that as a joke.
Yeah, I feel
that's
like
it is
I
a
feel
great
like it's
one.
just the easy
Yeah.
one.
Okay, I've got two here. I kind of went with iconic duos and then made them disc golf.
Nice.
Oh,
So
I love that. That's
here's what
good.
I've got first. I've got Thing C1 and Thing C2. Like Thing 1 and Thing 2, but it's Thing C1 and Thing C2.
Nice. All right, you
Like
have a second
C1
one?
putting, C2 putting.
C1.
Yes.
Ah,
Like the letter
that's
C.
funny. That's funny.
I
That's
typed
funny.
it right.
And then the second one I'm going to go with here is Sure Grip Locked Homes and Dr. Weakside.
Sure.
That one's a bit of a stretch.
Sure grip locked homes.
Whew. And Dr. Weakside.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Watson.
I
but
understand.
I turned it into Weakside.
That's tough,
funny.
Trevor. That's a little tough.
That's funny.
tough for what?
I like the.
It's just when it's written out. Is that how you want me to write it? Don't look at these.
Oh, yeah, no, I realized it was a stretch.
I like it. Scrambled my
Yeah.
brain, but I like it.
Yeah, listen, I got to really contort a lot of these.
My next one, the next one I'm gonna take is Prodigy's Lawyers.
That's funny.
That's funny.
I thought that was a
That's
fun one.
funny,
You
huh?
should have done like Prodigy's legal team.
Change it to Prodigy.
If you
I
went
like
into
Prodigy's
if you went into
Lawyers.
worst one, I like yours better.
That is a great idea, huh?
Connor, you
That's
get two?
that is funny.
All right.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
that's a
go-
name that like you and I would have cooked up for our doubles team.
Yeah, I feel like
That's funny.
That's where it came from.
This guy Hunt's funny.
My brain.
My next one is Kraft Smackin' Trees.
That's great. I love that.
You get another one, Connor?
And then the Yoink Peppermint Patties.
I
I
like it.
see you got stuck on food.
Yeah, maybe I was just really hungry this morning.
Yeah, those are great though.
My next one, I'm
Kraft
gonna go
mac
with.
and cheese or trees is great. That's
Thank you.
very funny.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go. With, this one's I feel like you've probably seen a million times, but Chain Smokers.
The chain smokers.
Yeah,
that's a
good.
classic.
It's a classic.
That is
That's a
a
classic.
classic.
That's a classic.
That is
If
a
you want
classic.
if you want to support tobacco abuse.
Okay, my last two. This one is a play on Bonnie and Clyde. It is Annie and Glide.
All right.
And then let's see for the last one. I've got Shanky and Scoober Doo.
That's good. I like that.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that you went with like the duos. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
the last one I'm gonna take
Come
is
on.
Two Finger Flingers.
The two finger flingers.
flingers.
I thought a really
I like
funny.
that.
I saw a really funny one for.
That's just like a good name.
for like a women's team. It was Chicks with Flicks, like chick flicks, but you got
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
Last
I
one?
wish I had thought of something with split grip.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my last one is going to be. Let's see if like last one I want a dark horse go with a different one.
there's the indecision again.
No, I'm
And
just
there's
gonna
the
go with
smugness.
it. I got
There's the smugness.
Ritz Smashers.
Nice.
Ritz Smashers.
Yeah, it's a Ritz
crackers.
crackers.
Oh, come on now, Connor.
Yeah.
Your other ones were so. Let's hear the honorable mentions.
You know my
Is everybody
honorable
done? Or do
mentions?
you still have one more?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
All right, Connor's honorable
Because
mentions.
last time you had like 3 honorable mentions that I liked better than.
Yeah,
one of the
I
others.
know. My honorable mentions are always better. Smoothie Kings,
That's a
Yeah,
good. That is
yeah.
a good one.
Peanut Butter and Jammies,
I kind of like that.
Basket Robbins,
That's
Put-
good too.
Putterfingers, IHOP, International Huck of Plastic, Oscar Mayer Leaners, and then OB1 Kenobi, Nothing But Noodle Arms, and my favorite one, Save Bogey, Live Better, Walmart.
I googled. I didn't use any of the ones I googled, but to try to like get some inspiration, I just looked up a Reddit thread of the like best disc golf doubles names.
That's where I saw that one.
Designated drivers was one. Thought that was funny.
That's funny.
The one I really was like, I want to use that, but I don't want to have to tell everyone I didn't come up with it. Was Innova our heads, like Innova.
Oh, that's so good.
Because then I was like,
Dude,
can I start making some puns with like disc like manufacturers' names? I couldn't.
It's difficult. That was
when I got the Prodigy's lawyers. Like, what can I do with Prodigy?
That's funny.
Lawyers. That's
good
fun.
list, boys.
I thought of another one, but this would be like the doubles team name of like probably 50% of the nation. Team Lone Star.
Team Lone.
That would have been funny.
That's funny.
All right,
that was a good list.
There you have it. You can vote for us over.
Comment down below your doubles team ideas too.
That's always fun. You can vote for these over on Twitter or on Instagram. Other than that, we'll see you again next week, probably with another Champions Cup rescheduling. Talk to you then.